Hello and good day, everybody. Welcome to The Divide with Marcus P. Williams. You're listening to us on WRFZ 106.3, and we have a lot of stuff going on today. Now, as we start to get into this, I'm working on fixing some of the audio equipment here, so you might hear a brief delay. Give me a couple of seconds, real quick. All right, so we're back. So let's jump right into it. The worst thing that you can have on the radio is dead air, right? Sometimes you got to fix the audio. So that happens. Now, we've had a lot of stuff going on in the news and in the world, and there's just so much to talk about. But if you live in the state of New York, you might be wondering, what is a direction forward? Because for the majority of the people that are in New York State, I don't think that they would consider things looking up. The people that I've talked to that have the most rosy demeanor when it comes to New York State are the people that aren't from New York State or even from the area. And this is a very interesting thing that I seem to keep running across as a pattern. They've moved from California or Colorado or Washington State. They're over here now and they're talking about everything is peachy keen and rosy. But when you talk to people that have been here a long time, not everybody is so gung ho about everything that's going on, unless they're what you would consider more affluent and live in nicer neighborhoods and nicer communities where they feel less of the sting of everything that's going on day to day in policies. But even that safety and protection seems to be waning because crime continues to permeate every possible pore of New York State. And the interesting thing is it's not just New York State that the crime is a problem. It seems to be every single state that is Democrat run that there is a problem with crime. Now we can argue on what exactly the issue is and why there is crime or whatever the case may be, but it seems that all of the Democratic states that have the issues with crime have the exact same issues because of the policies that have been implemented. Now, as we move into this year coming up, they're talking about, well, insurance is starting to go sky high. I mean, everybody's seen it. You don't have to live in New York State. Almost everywhere in the country that is requirement to have insurance or you need insurance or you kind of got some insurance, you're seeing your premiums go up. But largely it's outweighed in states with horrible crime policies like bail reform, cashless bail, stuff like that, not locking up criminals. We see that very much in New York State. It's very, very, very serious here. We've got criminals that run wild and there's no type of accountability. The police see them. Matter of fact, I saw a video of, I believe it was Maryland the other day, where these youths were hanging out the windows of cars and that drove right just by the police and the police didn't even move. And the guy in the car next to the police was videotaping them and he's like, well, what good are you? What are you even there for? Well, this is part of the issue. The police in these areas have been hamstrung. I know in the city I live in, the city of Rochester, the police have been hamstrung because the policies, not only the policies from local elected officials, city council here has basically neutered the police force. They can't do anything. We look at it, what most of the crime is what you would consider youth crime, whether you consider them to be youth or young adults or whatever the case is, but it's under 18. These are the people that are doing the majority of the crimes. And we're just not talking about petty theft, right? We're talking about serious crimes like armed robbery, bank robbery. We're talking about shootings, stabbings, and now we've got motorcycle gangs, which aren't even motorcycles, right? They're dirt bikes and ATVs. And we get people that are running people through with machetes like we're in the Pirates of the Caribbean or something. Something seriously must be changed. But in order to change that, we have to change the laws and legislation that is in place. And that means that we're going to have to change the elected officials that are in place. Because it's very clear that people that are in office right now are like, everything is absolutely fantastic and perfect. Now, you and me, we turn on the news, or maybe you live in an area that's high in crime, similar to my neighborhood and community. You see what's going on. The crime is crazy out of control. They'll tell you, don't believe your lying eyes. Everything is perfectly fine, and it's just not true, right? It's like if you go to the doctor and they're supposed to give you a needle and the nurse tells you to look away as they stick the needle in there and you're like, oh, we're not going to stick the needle in there and jab, you know? And that's really what we're starting to see right now. They're telling us that we're not witnessing what we're actually witnessing. And that's something that's not okay because they're gaslighting us, right? And I guess a lot of people aren't familiar with the term gaslighting. So we'll go over a little bit of history on there because it's very interesting. There was this plague, and in this plague, this husband kept trying to convince this wife that she didn't know what she was talking about, that she was crazy and everything. Now, back in those days, they had lights that were powered by flame, that were powered by gas, you know? So hence the name gas light. And every time that he would tell a fictitious, tell her to try to convince her, they would flicker the lights in the auditorium. So that's where the term gaslighting comes from. But it's crazy because, like him trying to convince her to believe something that's not real, to more so, I should say, to convince somebody that something that you actually witnessed did not happen is happening more and more frequently. And we see largely that it's due to the people that are in control of the media, that are in control of the social media, and all of them seem to be, well, of one party, and that's the Democrat Party. And you'll say, well, Marcus, what about Fox? Fox is about the same. Fox is run by Paul Ryan. I am not a fan. Okay, Paul Ryan endorses central bank digital currency and a digital dollar and increasing I should say decreasing privacy and increasing government oversight of everything that you do in your daily life. Now, this is the same thing that Democrats are for and continue to push, and it's very, very troubling. So they're all together, all in one bunch. They all work together. It's all pretty much the same nonsense and stuff. The Democrats, though, however, have the largest amount of control, and you can call them what you want, call them fascist, call them Marxist, call them whatever. The fact of the matter is that they're all actively working against the American people. And largely they're working against the American people in tandem. And that's a very, very, very serious issue. But we need to have that conversation. But a lot of people don't want to have that conversation. And now more than ever, we've got a pressing election coming up. They always say, oh, well, it's the election of a lifetime. It's the election of a lifetime. I'm tired, bro. I'm tired of every election being the election of a lifetime. Are you tired? I'm tired. As a matter of fact, while you guys are listening, and make sure if you're listening to us online, make sure that you're liking and sharing. Share everywhere, wherever you are, on whatever platform you're on, whether it's X, whether it's Rumble, whether it's YouTube, whether it's Facebook. Make sure you're sharing. If you guys are tuning into us on the radio, make sure you let people know that we've got a good show that comes on every Monday, 2:30 to 4 p.m. Now, as we continue to talk about this insanity that's going on, as we continue to talk about this insanity that's going on, we have to see for ourselves that what's happening is not right and something very unusual is going on in which we see the, what would you say, the elites that control everything in Washington really working together to mislead the general public. We've got things that you know what? I don't like talking about the presidential election like that because I think it's done to death all the time. But what we've got going on right now is kind of crazy, and it leads right into what I'm talking. We've got the new presidential campaign for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz running for office together. I don't know what to tell you guys. I honestly don't know what to tell you guys. It's not looking good. And they say, well, our new slogan is forward. That's what our slogan is, forward. Forward to where, bro? Forward to where? You're leading us. We're already at the gates of hell. Y'all trying to lead us inside. This is crazy. It's absolutely insane. I don't even know what to talk to begin to talk about Kamala Harris and her whole campaign. It's a bunch of subterfuge. Can you believe that they're doing a Democrat convention right now? And it's crazy because the show on right before me, the guy is a open communist, and it's crazy that he's out here talking about that Tim Walz and Kamala Harris are both pieces of garbage. I think that's very interesting because we are on two different completely two different levels of politics, him and I. We're on two completely opposite sides almost. Because I'm not about that life at all. But he's it's crazy. This is what we have is let me it's frustrating, and I'm trying not to convey my frustration in my voice as I do this program. But this stuff is like they're playing in our faces. They're trying to make us feel like they're going to do something for us, and everything is a lie. We look at the Harris campaign presently. What have we seen? JD Vance said that there's a policy he wants to increase the child tax credit to $5,000. Kamala Harris comes out, I want to increase it to $6,000. Really? Well, you couldn't come up with your own thing? President Trump says he wants to not tax tips. Kamala Harris comes out, I don't want to tax tips. Really? And people are going for this nonsense. They're just loving Kamala Harris. Oh, she's the greatest. She's the best. Look at all these great things she's trying to do. Y'all are being bamboozled hard. And you're just eating it up. They are literally feeding you a pile of poop and you're eating it like it's okay and tastes. It's just beyond me. And then people get mad that, oh, well, how can you go for Trump or whatever the case is? Are you serious? Are you serious? All I'm saying is that you shouldn't go for Harris. But if you want me to say why I would say that somebody should consider Trump, look at the alternative. The alternative is the same administration that's been in there. Stuff has been collapsing. They have been making government overreach continue to extend. And they have nothing against Trump except he's a bad orange man. Well, he's got 34 indictment accounts for what? Do you know what any of those indictments are for? Nobody knows. All of those are just things that were misdemeanors that they try to trump up and make felonies just so that they can get him on some ridiculous charges. Now they're going to try to put him in jail and they're going to try to kill him again. It's going to happen again. And they're probably going to succeed this time. I'm going to pray against it and I'm going to do my best to look forward in an optimistic way. But I don't trust any of it. We're all being manipulated. And then we got people out here saying it's a good thing that they tried to assassinate Trump, but they wish that he would die. Are you stupid? Are you stupid? Like, what's wrong with you? Like, you that's what you really think? Like, I don't like Joe Biden. I don't like Harris or any of these people. Look, I go down the list. There's a whole bunch of them I don't like. And it's not just one side either. Democrats, it's Republicans too. All of them. A lot of these people are trash because they're all working together in cahoots against the American people. My heart's with the people, okay? Like, and the people can't even see for themselves what the serious issues are when you try to bring it up to them. It's ridiculous. I'll give you the best example I can give you. Over by where I live right now, they're redoing the road over where I live, and they're putting in all these medians and stuff like that, and it's ridiculous. They're taking it from 4 lanes down to 2 lanes, and it's 1 lane in both directions. The traffic is so bad that you can't even barely cross the street. They're moving crosswalks. They're redoing the streets so you can't turn down certain streets. because they're putting these medians in place. The whole thing is a fakakta mess, okay? It's absolutely ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And the people are being railroaded by this fugazi nonsense. They're like, oh, it looks good. It's going to be good. It's going to help. It's going to help. All it's going to do is limit your ability to have free mobility and transition through smoothly. If the bus, which it's a main artery, so it's got buses on it, right? Listen, the bus stops at the bus stop, traffic's backed up 8 blocks. It's backed up 8 blocks. And then the lights, there's so many lights on the street, it's ridiculous. And they just replaced the lights, so those lights aren't going anywhere. But the thing is that they told people that it's a good thing, you know, and people are like, oh, it's a good thing. And most people can't be bothered or be burdened. They don't care until it's actually impacting them. So they don't care until everything's all over and it's said and done. And that's a serious, serious issue. But, you know, I look at it like this. If we continue not to pay attention to what's actually going on, we're going to continue to get hammered and blindsided by these different issues that are coming up because they're telling us that things are good when they're really not. And I'll go back to Kamala Harris's campaign real quick. She's talking about all of these tax credits. Okay, I hear you, tax credits. I don't believe in tax credits personally. I believe that they should let you keep the money that you work for. Okay, like that's a big thing for me. I believe in baby bonds. That's a big thing for me. Okay, but these people out here are talking about we're going to give away money that we don't have. How? How? And people are like, oh, well, we're going to be able to have the money. It's okay. We just got tons of money lying around. We are barely able to service the amount of debt that is on the amount of interest that's on the debt that we have. And I was watching a thing with the CBO, which is the Central Budget Office, which is a nonpartisan department of the government, which are the people who run all the numbers for everything. And they're like, yeah, in another 5 years, everything's jacked up left, right, and forward. We couldn't cut enough costs if we wanted to. And it's a real problem. You know, they said, well, even if we were to like knock down the whole budget like 10%, we'd still be done for. Like that's tremendously terrible. And we really need to have a conversation about that when we got people talking about they're going to expand all of these programs. Okay, I hear you. Child tax credit makes sense. All these other tax credits and stuff like that starting not to make sense. These are the same people that want to make sure that they what do they call it? Not loan forgiveness for the student loans. What are they calling it? They're calling it something else. I don't remember. Whatever, the SAVE program, all of that. They want to do all of that. But where is that money coming from? It's just adding to the debt. Everything for the student. You know that the debt right now per person in the United States, based on the way that the national debt is over $100,000. It's over $100,000. You think about all of these things, like they got birth certificates and all of this. That's just a certificate of ownership of humanity. Okay, they own you. The government owns you, and they auction away your productivity as if it's something that can be accounted for, and that's how they get more money. Because they've already auctioned off all the land, all the assets, and everything else. They barely got anything else that they can put up as collateral. So they're putting up the people. And we're having less people now more than ever. Who wants to buy these ridiculous bonds in the US, the Treasury bonds, other than the US Treasury, which is not the US Treasury, but the Federal Reserve, which isn't even part of the federal government. It is a private bank. Essentially, it works like this. The US needs money. They go to the Federal Reserve. They say, hey, Federal Reserve, loan us money. Federal Reserve goes to the US Treasury and says, US Treasury, print up money and sell us bonds. That's crazy, bro. That's crazy. So basically what's happening with the Federal Reserve is they are taking our money, loaning it back to us, and saying, here, now you owe us money. And if you don't pay, we'll take everything. How insane is that? But the money is ours to begin with. How does that even work? It's so disgusting. It makes you want to spit, man. I tell you, it's really, really, really bad, and it makes me so upset that I can barely even talk about it because it's frustrating because people don't know and they don't understand. It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting and reprehensible what's being done to the American people, and people just go along with. We've got this now. Kamala Harris is like, we're going to put $25,000 for home ownership down payments. How? There's 310 million people in the U.S. Where are you going to get that money from? We already broke. The government broke. The government's beyond broke. Really, they're almost insolvent. Okay, can we talk about that? And they're talking about they're going to lower taxes. How are you going to lower taxes when you're talking about giving all this free stuff away? Plus, we're not even accounting for all the free money that they're giving away to these illegal aliens. Illegal aliens getting food stamp cards and stuff for $10,000 a month on it. Well, not $10,000, but $10,000 on it with $3,000 of cash, and people working hard can barely get $100 worth of food stamps. You understand what I'm saying? Like, this is absolutely ridiculous. And the way in the direction that we're going right now is not a positive one, but they keep trying to say, oh, well, we're going to go forward with Kamala Harris. The only place we're going forward with her is forward to hell. I'm not trying to go nowhere with her. She's terrible, bro. She's been terrible. This isn't new news to anybody. The fact that you guys that are Democrats just let this happen is absolutely reprehensible. Okay, like y'all ain't had nobody better than her. Don't play in my face. I know y'all got better people than her, but nobody was willing to speak up. Nobody voted for Kamala Harris. They all voted for Biden. I didn't want them to vote for Biden, but that's beside the point. Okay, they voted for Biden in the primary. Now they done snuck herself in there, and now they're gonna go. I guess what do you call it? Canonize her tonight. Okay, because that's essentially what they're doing, turning her into some Saint Kamala. Okay, that's what they're doing. She ain't got nothing for us. She ain't got nothing for nobody. People don't know, oh, well, she's going to try to forgive more people's loans. Listen, if you really wanted to do something, if they really, really wanted to do something, they put in a document to reset everybody's credit score to 750, okay? And they put in a document to forgive all credit card debt. That's if they really wanted to do something, compared to talking about school loans. It's crazy because the average person has, this is a crazy statistic, the average person in America has almost $25,000 of credit card debt. I don't even know that that's possible. I don't even know how that's possible. But that's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. How is that the average? How is that? You know, got credit lines that's high to have that much debt continuously? How? How? And it's an average, so that means that there's people that have more and there's people that have less. But still. But if they really wanted to do something, that's what they would do. But it shows that they don't actually care. They're trying to shore up this specific type of base, which are these liberal leftist people that have graduated from college and now can't get any jobs, but we can't talk about the jobs because they can't service their loans. Because the jobs don't pay enough. But can we talk about how the cost of housing has gone up crazy? Can we talk about how the cost of college has gone up outrageously? Nobody wants to talk about the cost of college. Why did the cost of college go up so much? Because of government subsidies. Because the more the government subsidizes anything, the more the prices go up and up and up. And now we got Kamala Harris talking about she wants to do some price rigging. Man, if you guys don't see it for what it is, and that it's a bad thing, I don't honestly know what to tell. But it's not good. It's bad, not good, right? And this is the direction that we're going in our nation. I was watching them interview people at the DNC convention, and it's crazy. They're like, oh, she's so awesome. Why? Nobody has valid answers. Some people will say, oh, well, she wants to keep the loan forgiveness. So I'm like, I guess if it affects you personally, that is a thing for you, right? But that's not a thing for America. She's talking about moving forward for America. Like, that's not helping everybody in America. It's helping a very small, minute population. And honestly, those people are the people that have the better jobs, that have the nicer things. So all it's doing is adding more of a burden to people that are in the middle and working class, okay, and those in poverty. So now they're levying all the money against you that is going to raise these people up, because now they're going to be able to go up into a higher bracket that you'll never be able to get to, because they just force all this extra debt upon you because they're giving away free money to other people. You're not getting any debt. I heard this lady say that she was 6 figures in debt, and they're forgiving her loans. Where's my 6-figure check from the government, bro? Where is my 6-figure check from the government? Did you get yours? I didn't get mine. So this is a problem for me. I don't have any student loan debt. Why are we paying for your student loan debt? You signed up for that. You decided to go to that school. You decided to get a degree in modern classical Greco-Roman 3rd century Baroque art. Like something just completely on a tangent out in the middle of nowhere that nobody's got any jobs for. There's like 2 jobs for that in the whole world. And there's thousands of degrees for it. Yeah, you got a degree in gender studies. What are you doing? What is that degree doing? Why are you putting on, we're forgiving these loans? Like, are you serious? Like, we're not even taking these loans and looking and say, okay, well, this person has a medical doctorate. Well, let's see about just doing the medical doctors or something like that. The whole thing is a scam against the American people. And until the American people wake up, nothing's going to change. They're talking about forward. That's their new slogan. Forward. Forward to what? Not the victory to death. You sending America to its doom. I don't want to go forward with you. Your forward is the demise of the American system, of the American economy, of the American person, the American everyday man and woman. It's complete. I don't even know, you guys. Like, it's frustrating to even talk about. It's so frustrating. And let me tell you why it's so frustrating, right? I'm trying to fix this microphone. Let me tell you why it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating because most people can't be bothered, right? It's the biggest election of our lifetime. Okay, maybe. It is every year, which is crazy, and I wish it would stop. But it all goes back to the laws and legislation that they keep pushing more and more evil on us. And that's because there's no God in anything. But people know that this is a very serious election, and people won't get active. There are candidates that are running that are good, that people support, that they see, oh, I hear from people all the time. Oh, the crime is bad. The crime is bad. Well, are you willing to help support a candidate that stands against the laws that are going to continue to impact us adversely and increase the crime? Can you help them go pass out flyers, or can you donate to their campaign? Oh, no, that's too much. That's a moonshot right there, trying to ask for that from people. It's so frustrating, bro. Like, I can't even. Like, it's so frustrating. It's very upsetting, and I don't even know. I don't even know. I don't even know what to say. Like, I'm disappointed in my fellow Americans. I put up a post the other day. I said I've determined that the majority of the American population are retarded. Gotta be. Gotta be. Because how else are we letting the government continue to bend us over and ramrod us? You understand what I'm saying? The taxes are high as all good get up. Kamala out here talking about she about to end up doing all these policies that are going to raise taxes. Okay, we got all these state level governments adding more taxes, adding more taxes. We talked earlier a little bit about it, the insurance ballooning. But why is the insurance ballooning? Because of all the crime. In California, you can't even get car insurance right now in certain places, most places. And if you have, they just did a special. I want to say it was ABC Dateline, or maybe it was 2020, one of those, or 60 Minutes, one of those shows, right? On how people have owned their houses for decades or generations, and they can no longer get insurance on their homes in California. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And some people will say, oh, well, it's because of the fires. But no, it's not because of the fires. But the fires are a whole nother man-made issue in California, because they have poor management of shrubbery and debris, which is a whole nother conversation because we could talk all day long about California's terrible water policies, okay, and what they're doing. They release, that they release all the water right back into the ocean when it rains, when they get a lot of rain. But you talking about you got a drought? They tripping. It's poor water management. Then California also sells a lot of the water to Arabia, Saudi Arabia, and China. Like, that's a whole nother conversation. It's crazy. And local farmers can't even get the water. We're not going to talk about that today. But as I talk to you and we speak together, I want to remind you, if you're listening to this online, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Okay? Like, share, and subscribe. Subscribe is the best thing that you can do. The best thing in the universe you can do is share it. Share it. Share it. Let other people know. Get the message out there that people are talking about real stuff on this show. The Divide with Marcus C. Williams, Mondays, 2:30 to 4 p.m. on WRFZ 106.3 FM radio. If you're listening to us on the radio, make sure you tell your friends to tune in. Hell, tell your enemies to tune in. Tell everybody to tune in. And if you'd like to, be a sponsor on the show and help sponsor us, please send me an email. MarcusWilliams222@outlook.com. That's MarcusWilliams222@outlook.com. But the fact of the matter is that we have to actually start standing up and uniting as a country and as a nation. If we don't, nothing's going to change. Everything will remain the same. But they've got us so desperate to be separated from each other and to be so divided that people can't even relate with anybody, even though they have the majority of the same issues. The biggest issue that they're trying to make with the Harris campaign this year is women's rights, whatever that means, right? And they say, oh, well, women's reproductive health rights, whatever that means, right? And then they'll say, oh, abortion, what does that mean? Oh, see, now we're talking something that makes sense. Abortion means baby murder. That's what abortion is. No matter how you want to look at it or not, okay? That's exactly what it is. Abortion is baby murder. And if you're fine with that, that's something that I hear people say. And while I might not agree, I do understand, okay? But the very, very serious thing is that they're calling this healthcare. But it's not healthcare. It's literally destroying another life. How is that healthcare? It's not. There's no aftercare. Like, I live in New York State. They talk about this all the time. They're like, oh, we need to have all these abortions. They're going to try to take away your abortions. Nobody's going to try to take away anybody's abortions in New York State. Abortions are already codified in law here. It's popular in New York State. We got late-term abortions. You can murder your baby up until the baby's delivered. We've had stories of people in New York State having abortions after the baby's been come out of the womb alive. So that's a whole serious issue. Like, we can't have these conversations really, though, because they don't want to have these conversations. You know, they talk about abortion and how everybody should be able to have an abortion. Why aren't we talking about contraceptives? Don't we have 59 types of them? Okay? You got condoms, to say the least, right? What do they say? Condoms are 99% effective or whatever, 99.9, whatever the case is. You know, and aside from condoms, there are female condoms, there's spermicide, there's all types of other options, right? But abortion is a thing that they want to talk about. Why? Do you know that they make money off of the baby parts that they have when they have abortions? Do you know that there are certain places that do certain occult rituals with the baby body parts and the abortion? I think we talked about this before on this show. In Michigan, what do you call them? Oh my goodness, the Temple of Satan, right? Or whatever. Maybe it's the other way around. Maybe it's worded differently. But the Temple of Satan, essentially, the Satanist people, have their own abortion clinic because they said abortion is a religious right, as a religious sacrament. It's a sacrament of the devil, people. And they're promoting it like it should be a first option. How is abortion such a big thing when now in New York State they got the abortion pill in freaking what do you call them things? the snack machines. What are the snack machines called? Vending machines. They got them on college campuses. On every college campus in New York's got them on there. Like, are we serious right now? Because condoms, that's a stone's throw too far. Because teaching kids about abstinence and the youth about abstinence and the importance of a healthy marriage and a healthy coupling is not something that they want to talk about. Why is that? Then when they actually talk about abortion, you never hear them talk about any aftercare. I'm running for state assembly where I am right now, and my big thing is the aftercare for people that are having these abortions. There is none. There is none. And people, after they have abortion, women after they have abortion, let me not say people before you think that I'm one of those crazy people, pregnant people, chest feeders. Okay, that's nonsense. We're not gonna be about that. No, that's nonsense. So when women have abortions, it affects them very seriously psychologically, and many times it affects them physiologically as well as physically. Like, so we can't talk about that though, and the fact that there's no aftercare or follow-up care in that. But mental health is a big issue that they want to try to talk about. But no, nobody else will talk about that, and I don't know why. For the life of me, it very much so bothers me. And aside from that, you look at whatever else they want to talk about when it comes to that reproductive health care. But you don't really care about the life of the mother and the life of the baby, right? You just care about depopulation. That's what the whole thing is. It's always about depopulation. It's never about actual women's, whatever they're calling it, right? It's abortion. It's abortion. It's eugenics. They're trying to delete the fetuses. Okay, they're trying to delete the babies, right? What was that? Y'all seen that image where the lady had a cake talking about she had an abortion? It says "Yeetus the fetus," and it's got like a picture of a lady smiling and throwing a baby in the garbage can. Like, that's where we are in America right now. That's okay. That's what they've normalized. It's so frustrating. It's so disgusting. It makes me want to spit. And I can't. I really can't. It bothers me so bad. Like, that this is where we are. We already know that we have a very serious issue with single individuals that are not able to get married or to find a partner. That is a very serious issue. We already know that somehow, with all of this talk of free abortions and stuff like that, people are having sex less now more than ever. Hey, maybe that's got something to do with how they've divided up our society and how they put a stumbling block in the road of the young youth, right? Because I'm a youth too, but of like the young Gen Z, right? Like, not because like young Gen Z now is like what, 17, 16, 17? I don't even know. I can't even keep up with how these generations are. So like, I think I'm part Gen Z, but I don't even know anymore how these things are, and I don't really know where Gen Alpha is now. But and I fear for Gen Alpha. It's terrible. I don't even have any hope for them unless something drastically changes, because the educational system is so terribly, terribly, terribly focused on indoctrinating them and sapping away any level of individualism that they have. It's horrible. But like I said, they shut down all the schools and made people separate from themselves. Stay 6 feet apart, stay 6 feet apart. Fauci said that wasn't a real thing. He just kind of pulled it out of his nose. But the fact of the matter is that we know physiologically, when you're closer to 6 foot to somebody, that you can actually feel their energy and their presence. And we as humans are like batteries. We need other people. Okay? We need other people. That's why isolation is not good. But they've made it into a society where everybody's supposed to be indoors, away, locked in their room, because that's what's fashionable, that's what's cool. Because they convinced everybody during COVID the lockdown is what it is. And they're pushing this more and more and more. They don't want you to leave your habitation. They don't. That's why everything's deliverable now. Everything seems fast and convenient. It's not really fast and convenient. What is the real cost on us socially? And what is the real cost on us as a species? we have a very serious issue with depopulation. But Kamala Harris will get on the TV and she'll say, oh, well, you know, if we want to have a better future and save the climate and stuff like that and have more resources for our children, then we've got to depopulate. You know, I'm like, this is what she said out her mouth, and then they'll try to fact check that and they'll say, oh well, she didn't mean it like that. She meant what she said. That is not something there is. What does she mean? What does she mean? If she didn't mean that, what word in the dictionary is close to depopulation? Explain it to me. Tell me like I'm five. Get out the dictionary. Show me the word. Show me the word how she misspoke. Okay, she didn't misspeak. That was what's in her head because she said what she meant. She said what she meant. What do they say? Your words betray you? That's what it is. Her words betray you. It was a Freudian slip. Okay, it's a Freudian slip. That's what they call that. But we can't have that conversation because they don't want us to have that conversation. And now you see all this crazy censorship. It's coming back even worse than ever before. They got all these new laws that are super crazy in New York State. We got Kathy Hochul talking about she's putting in a thing in schools where the kids can't have the cell phones in the schools, which is suspect because we know that they're already in the schools teaching and showing crazy stuff in the schools. Okay. I can't remember whether it was in the Midwest somewhere, one of them Midwestern Democrat states. I can't remember. But they were like showing in health class bestiality, like it was okay. And the parents all got mad and it was a big problem. And they tried to sweep it under the rug. I didn't even see it in like any television. It's like it was in articles that you had to find, like and really look for in local news. So that was really crazy. So, and then I guess it's not the only thing that's happened there. It's happened in other places too. But this is the normalization of stuff that's going on in the school system, but they don't want you to know about it. Kathy Hochul's talking about, oh, we're going to teach kids about misinformation and disinformation, and we're going to teach them what it is. No, what you mean is you're going to teach them to be compliant little subordinates to the government, to the man, okay? That's what you want. You want them to fall in line and be completely subordinate drunks, mindless drunks. That's what you want. They out here teaching kids that a boy doesn't have to be a boy and a girl doesn't have to be a girl, destroying their bodies. And you're going to tell me that it's not about devilry and population control? To what other point is it being done? Money? Yeah, of course. Billions of dollars. The trans industry is billions of dollars a year. It's crazy, and it's expected to grow because they keep pushing it, because they want you not to be able to reproduce. Now they've got this nonsense that they talk about with IVF and stuff like that. And the whole thing, I don't know if you guys remember. I can't remember where it was off the top of my head right now. If you're watching online, drop it in the comment. I believe it was started in Mississippi, right? There was this clinic that had got broken into, and like a lot of the embryos, the fertilized eggs, were destroyed. Like, so basically that was like baby murder, you know. It's like, so the state was like, we're going to pass a law that makes it so that the IVF clinics have to make sure that there's adequate security for people's unborn children. I feel like that's a fair law. So the IVF clinics and the industry is like, oh, we don't want to do that. You don't want to provide protection for people's unborn children. Why would you not want to provide protection for them? What's really going on? That makes the whole question even more suspicious. But then the Democrats launched onto that, talking about, oh, the Republicans don't want IVF, and it had nothing to do with them not wanting it. It just wanted them to protect people's embryos. You don't want if you've got IVF, you don't want them to protect your embryos and make sure that they're not stolen or they're not destroyed by mistake. I'm using poke fingers. Because we know that, again, they grow them and they use them for all types of experiments and stuff like that. And that's a real thing. So they use fetal tissue for all types of different experiments. That's a real thing. I try to tell you about what experiments that they use them for and say, well, maybe they put them in medical stuff that has to do with stuff that goes inside the human body. But I also don't want this episode to be taken off air. You know, but again, that goes to the censorship. You can't even say real stuff. Like, that's a real thing. Like that's a real thing, but you can't talk about. You know, it's terrible what we're going through as a nation. Now they're talking about, oh, they're going to do more geofencing data to try to, what would you say, try to find criminals or whatever the case is. But that just leads it to people that are in the area of being accosted, and you should have some reasonable sense of privacy. Again, stripping away our privacies and our liberties and freedoms. But we can't talk about that. Why? It's terrible. It's terrible. And that's why I always encourage people to get involved. If you guys are watching this online, make sure that you're sharing and you're subscribing. Definitely share. If you're listening to us on the radio, make sure that you tell other people to tune in. So, as we move forward, we got all of these things that are going topsy-turvy in our nation. The food costs are out of control. The housing costs are out of control. Kamala Harris wants to give everybody $25,000 to make it so that they can have for a down payment. But if everybody has $25,000, then that's going to boost up the cost of houses $25,000 at least, and it's going to increase competition. So now you thought you had something, but now you don't have nothing, and now you really can't afford nothing. And now the dollar is worth less because there's 310 million people out there. So many of those people now have $25,000 to use. Not actual money, right? Because they're not going to give you the actual money. Because then you could go use it on other things and spend it on other things, which would actually make more sense than doing this, which is a whole separate conversation. But anyway, inflation. Whenever they talk about pumping out money, it's going to increase inflation, which means the value of your dollar is going to be less. When the value of your dollar is less, that means that you're not going to be able to buy as much as you normally were. Everything is going to go up in price. So if you do that, $25,000, it's going to increase the market drastically and price everybody out. Because it's not a real solution. If they wanted to do something, they'd be like, abolish state income tax. If they really cared, they'd say end the Fed. But they don't say that. They definitely don't say end the Fed. But that would be if they really care. It's clear that they don't really care. And as we move forward, we, as the American people, still suffer, right? You know, you got to deal with the rising cost of food. You got to deal with the rising cost of meat and bread. And Kamala got out there and she said the other day, you know, the meat's gone up 50%. Bread's gone up 50%. Under your watch. Under your watch. Meat's gone up 50% under your watch. Bread's gone up 50% under your watch. Talking about no tax on tips. When you were the deciding vote in the Senate, because the vice president is the president of the Senate, they cast a deciding vote if they need one in the Senate. So she cast a deciding vote to put the 87,000 tax agents, added tax agents to the IRS. And she put in the bill was to make it easier to track your tips. And also the bill was to make it so that they can track your Cash App. Right? Y'all remember that? Like, are we being serious? So they can tax you on your Cash App. Crazy. It's disgusting. It's despicable. Makes me want to spit. It's a real serious issue. And we need to be able to have this conversation, but they don't want us to be able to have this conversation. And that's not all that's going on, right? Like, I could do a whole show about that. I could pick out any one of these individual topics and do a whole show on it. But she said the other day, and this is what frustrates me. She said, oh, our supply chain was messed up during COVID, and now it's getting better. But it's not. Because since that time, you've put in all types of extra regulations, especially in California, where she's from, on truck drivers and diesel trucks, okay? Making it where essentially you can't be an independent truck driver anymore. You got to be part of a bigger trucking company, okay? And most of these people that are truckers are independent. They've messed up our whole, what would you call it? Transportation by train situation. Again, it has to go back to the fuel issues and other things, you know, and the fuel is skyrocketed. And that doesn't even talk about the issues with our actual, what do you call it? I guess you would say agriculture, right? Like agriculture, but not just agriculture. Because when you hear agriculture, you don't really think meat, you just think plants. But so, but meat also, like with the agriculture, they've made it so it's difficult to get fertilizer because of we get a lot of the stuff that we need, like the nitrate and stuff that we need from Russia. And they blocked all of that, barred all of that. Who did that hurt? Not Russia, really. Hurt us, hurt the farmers, hurt our country, hurt our economy. Okay? And it's crazy. For what? For what? Who benefits? Oh, Ukraine benefits. But not really, not the Ukrainian people, the elites that are at the top of the pyramid in Ukraine. And it's sad because, like over there, and like I said earlier, we got all these elites that are at the very, very top that are bending us all over. You know, and the people still don't get the service that they need. But, you know, we got so much stuff going on right now. We really, really need to have this serious conversation as a nation. But people will say, oh, well, you don't like Kamala Harris, right? You're right. I don't like her. Because now they're trying to masquerade her as being African American. It was terrible enough they were trying to make her black. Now they're talking about she's African American. And Tim Walz said that she, first of all, Mr. Midwest white guy, don't tell people what black is or what it's African American. You ain't got no business speaking on nothing for us, okay? Zero. Absolutely zero. Okay? He got up there in front of the Black Congressional Congress, what do you call it? Black Congressional Caucus, which is crazy because the Democrats won't let any Black Republicans in the Black Congressional Caucus. So how is it really representing the diverse amount of thought in the Black community? But we can't talk about that either. It's all a sham. It's all a lie. He got up there and he said, oh, well, she's a Black woman. She's not a Black woman. Okay, Black means Black American. You're not going to do that. Ain't nobody else Black American because Black American is ethno-nationality. We've talked about that before on this show. Okay, we're not going to do that. Then he said she's African American. That was even worse. That was even worse. Like, it was bad calling her Black, but then calling her African American was even double worse. And people are eating it up, eating it up, eating it up because of the ignorance that is out there and what's continued to be forced down their throat by the Democrats, which is, oh, she's Black, she's Black, she's Black, because she went to a Black school and she went to a Black sorority. But she's not Black. She's Hindu. She's Hindu. Her mom's from India. Her dad is Hindu and Irish, but he has Jamaican nationality. He's not Black either. Ain't neither one of her parents is Black. She's barely American. Neither of her parents, when they came here and had her, were American citizens. Like, are we being real and being serious right now? Essentially, Kamala Harris is an anchor baby. But that's a whole separate conversation that people don't want to actually have. But whatever you call it, she ain't Black, and I'm tired of them trying to make it that Black people think that she is Black. And we got all these Black people out here thinking that she's Black, don't even know. It's terrible, terrible. Then people will say, oh, well, she's a woman of color. I don't care that she is a woman of color. Are you serious? You want to tell me that we want a Black person? We want a Black person. Joe Biden said the vice president was a Black person's job. Make there be a Black person then. If that's what it is, if that's what you're saying it is, make it what it is. Okay, but these are the same people that didn't know what a woman was. And are still trying to tell your children in school that a boy doesn't have to be a boy and a girl doesn't have to be a girl, and all about these crazy pronouns and nonsense. I'm not with it. I will not participate in their psychosis. Psychosis. That's all that it is. It's a psychosis, and it's sweeping the nation. It's highly contagious psychosis. And speaking of things that are highly contagious, now they're talking about, oh, you know, monkeypox is back, but monkeypox comes from you having butchy boy stuff, okay? From dudes banging other dudes. That's where that comes from. That's how that's expanded. Okay. Now they're saying, oh no, well, this strain is a little different and it's spread a little different and whatever the case is. But you tried to have us all riled up about that before. Now you're trying to make a comeback in a different form, but still, again, largely spread uh, by male intercourse, male to male intercourse. Okay, dudes banging dudes. Like, can we have that conversation? No. Remember, they said that they were going to try to rename it from monkeypox to mpox because it might have a negative connotation on the alphabet community. But they got drag queens out here representing the whole alphabet community. You make it make sense. Drag queen ain't nothing but a clown. You got whole clowns representing the whole community, and you worry that it being called monkeypox is going to be a bad reflection on the whole community. You sound dumb. We're not being honest here. That's what's going on. You're not being honest with yourself. You're not being honest about what you're trying to do. You're not being honest about anything. And it's very frustrating. It's frustrating and it's upsetting. And a lot of people feel defeated or like, what can I do? How can I make a change? Bro, sis, go pitch in with a campaign that's in your local area. Or, shameless plug, donate to my campaign, www.marcus4rochester.com. That's Marcus4rochester.com. I'm running for state assembly in New York State. Donate to my campaign because New York State is the battleground where the war will be fought. If we lose New York State any further, it's going to spread just like California spread all across the Midwest. California spread to Washington, it spread to Colorado, it spread to Nevada, it spread to New Mexico, it's spread to it's even spread into Texas, parts of Texas, you know, and it's got to be stopped. It's got to be stopped. The same thing is happening with New York. You think you're going to be safe in Tennessee? You think you're going to be safe in Florida? Absolutely not. It's coming for you. The fight is here in New York. Okay. So definitely donate to my campaign. But what else you can do is you can donate to other campaigns in the area that you're in that are people that you believe in that are running against people that have bad policies and that would do less. But also you can volunteer for these people's campaigns. And if you're where I am, please volunteer with my campaign, www.marcus4rochester.com. That's Marcus4rochester.com. Why? Because people need to get active if you're gonna see a difference. It's that simple. You're never gonna see a difference if you don't get active. You mad, you sitting on the couch, okay. You mad, you sitting at work, okay. You mad, you going through your bills, okay. Now what you gonna do about it? The thing to do is, one, hold your current elected officials accountable, but there ain't none of that. Number two is go help new officials that are running for election to try to get into office, to try to undo some of the stuff and fix the stuff that's going on that's harming you. You can't just sit idly by. You know, they say that it's the election of a lifetime. Get your behind off the couch. Get off the couch. Go pitch in financially. Pitch in, what do you call it? Pitch in physically. Go knock some doors. Go make some phone calls. Go organize some garden parties or fundraisers. Do something. Do something. Just don't sit on your bum. Okay, don't let this opportunity pass when we have an opportunity, especially in New York, to get rid of some of these people that are doing dirt and tearing up our state, but not just the state, the whole country. The whole country. The whole country is falling to pieces around us. People who are running for federal Senate, or not Senate, but House of Representatives, Congress, they call them very often, they call them congressmen. But even though you can be a senator and still be a congressman because it's all one thing. But that people that are running for the House of Representatives, you know, they need help on their campaigns too. They affect the federal laws. People that are running for state assembly or for state senate, they need help. Or sometimes it's state house, they call it, depending on where you live. They need help with their campaigns and stuff too. If we don't get more good people in on the local levels, nothing's going to change. The judges, don't even get me started on the judges. The judges need help. And in New York State, the judge can barely tell you what they're about. And that's a whole nother problem. Man, listen, if people don't get active now, nothing's going to change. If you guys are watching this online, make sure that you subscribe and that you share. Share everywhere. Okay, definitely share. And if you guys are listening on the radio, make sure you tell people tune in, tune in, tune in, tune in. And if you want to follow us on YouTube, you go to the Marcus C. Williams channel on YouTube and you'll find the show. Okay. So also on Rumble, you know, this is important. This is important. This is important. This is important. We have to get more people active. I'm running here and I see these other candidates that are running here also, and there's not enough support. You know, there's not enough people to get out to go knock the doors that are needed, to make the phone calls that are needed, to do the fundraisers that are needed, to do the stuff. We got what, 75 days left till election, and y'all still sitting on your rear derriere? Ain't nobody coming to save us. We are who's going to save us, and if it ain't us, then nobody's coming and nothing will change. I am so concerned about this election. I am not even able to express it. Not even able to express it. You know, I had a vision the other day, and this is part, I think I talked about this briefly earlier. That and I'll tell the whole vision. So I had a vision. Usually my visions are 100% accurate. I don't dream very often, but every now and then the Lord will give me visions, and usually they are all come to pass, and it's crazy. So I had a vision that I was in a park at an event, and the event was like a public event, and it had all these local like groups, nonprofit groups and stuff there and everything. And then I saw above the park, I saw like some sort of a structure, like a catwalk type of a thing. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. So what's that do? It gives you a better view of what's going on in the park. So I climb up it, and it's like fall, right? Because you can see the leaves are falling on the ground, and there's the bright oranges and reds and stuff like that. So I climb up it, and I walk around it, and then it goes around this building, and I go to the other side of the building, and I go inside the building, and then I see a whole bunch of people that look like they're from the Republican Party locally to me. Okay, and this was very interesting. So certain individuals were there, and I'll leave out who was particularly there just because this is an on-air thing, whatever the case is. But then I was there, I was talking to some people greeted me, whatever the case is. And then it was like it was one of those little rooms that's outside some of the presentation rooms, like if you were to go to like a convention or something, kind of like that. And then I went into another room, and it was like an auditorium. And in the auditorium, there was all these Democrats in there. And I'm gonna leave out some details because it's more local based, and I don't want anybody to get any extra ideas or anything. But anyway, so in there I saw the Democrats, the local Democrats, and largely it was what we would consider in Rochester the city Democrats, right? So I had some conversations with a couple of those. One was a jerk, because they're always a jerk. They're a fake person. I ain't gonna talk about them on the radio, but they fake, they garbage, they trash. And I can't stand the fakeness, and I think it's terrible. I can't stand fake people, y'all. It's not good. It's not good, and it goes against the Bible. But it goes against the Bible to deal with people like that. But anyway, so there was another person that was there I was talking to, and then I left out of there, right? So I left out of there, and I went out. I went back through the other room where the Republicans were, and then I went back on like the terrace or whatever it was, the little like I don't know, whatever you call it, the structure that was like made of iron, right? And it went around the building, kind of looked like a fire escape type of situation. But it was like a whatever. Anyway, scaffolding maybe type of situation. Just think of like cast iron, like scaffolding type of situation. But it wasn't actual scaffolding. It was like it looked more like what are those things? Oh my goodness, fire escapes, right? Look more like that, but you can walk on it, right? Anyway, well, you can walk on a fire escape, but you get that. I'm trying to give you a concept look like that, but I'm not very good at giving the level of detail I'd like. But anyway, so I go back down there, right? And then, like, the whole thing gives me the impression that it sinks. Like the whole thing sinks. Like the whole thing sinks. So, like, the limited amount of people in there that were the Republicans that were in there that sunk. And the limited and the full amount, full, because the Republicans, it was only a small amount of them, certain individuals. Okay. But the city Democrats, it was all of the city Democrats that were in the auditorium, and even some other ones that were there. So the whole thing was like it was sinking. And somehow, what it gave me the impression was not only were they all sinking, but it kind of happened after another assassination attempt on Donald Trump. And they actually got him this time, which is terrifying. Okay. So I don't know exactly what that is, okay, or whether they actually got Donald or they gonna try again or they didn't get him. But it seemed to me, it felt like they got it. And that's sad. And that's real bad. Okay, but what's more important there, and I know that might be the most important thing for some people, but in Rochester, it's not for me. I hate to say it like that. But the sinking of the city Democrats and the more what you would consider kind of conservative-ish, moderate-ish type of Democrats, that's a big deal. That's a big deal. And the sinking of certain Republicans and the party and stuff like that, that's a big deal. That's a very large deal. So something interesting is going to happen, and it don't seem like it's going to be good. And I guess the whole thought behind the vision was I got to extricate myself from around these people because they're going down and they're going down bad, and don't be around them when they go down. I guess was the message, right? So the Lord bless you for that, you know. But it's very, very interesting and concerning because what's going to happen if that happens? It's not going to be good. So I guess I got to do something about the future then. I don't even have a clue what I'm going to do or how I'm going to do whatever I need to do because of that whole situation. But I'm going to figure something out. It'll be interesting because now I have to do something very major in the coming time, and I don't even know. But anyway, I just share that with you guys because I felt like I have a lot of visions and they come true all the time, but I don't really broadcast them or put them out there like that. I might tell a couple of people or whatever the case is, but they're right. They're always almost 100% on point, you know. So I don't know what this means, but I tell you what it looked like to me. Okay, I tell you what it looked like. It wasn't good, which means that I don't know what's going to happen with the local Democrat Party. That means that probably the far left is going to be doing a bang up job at taking over and pushing everybody else out. So y'all probably want to get on that and stop the far left from doing that if you're listening. That's probably a thing. And I'm very concerned, honestly, separately from that vision, but with a lot of stuff where they've got it, um, where we're going into this concept of the woke right now, and I can't stand it. I can't get excuse my language. I'm unwilling to deal with it because what we're seeing is these soft, what would you say, soft new light principles being converted to what we would have as traditional conservatism or traditional republicanism. I guess that's how you say it. So I see these things like they're softening, like I don't know if I talked about this before on this show, but at the RNC convention, I probably did because I was all hopped up over. I don't know if I did though, but they had Hamid Dillon up there talking about the one. Yeah, I did talk about this because I remember the one true God, Guru Swamirami, or whatever the case is. Who was that for, bro? That's what we're doing now as a Republicans. That's what we're allowing at the RNC convention. And I know that's national, that's not local, but that's not okay. You know, they're changing parts of the platform, you know, to be more in favor of baby murder and stuff like that. It's not okay. It's not okay. Because the concept is they're trying to attract new other people by softening their message. Why? Nobody that I know wants a softer message. They want a stronger, firmer message. That's what they want. You're trying to get people that ain't gonna get you, go vote for you no way. You're trying to attract people that are gonna dismantle and destroy our party. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Why would you do that? I'm very upset about it. Like, I'm not even upset. That's the wrong word. Livid, you know? Like, why would you do that? You know? Then they had Amber Rose up there speaking at the convention again. Why would you do that? Who was that for? Who did that benefit? That didn't benefit nobody. That's a Republican convention. She ain't even Republican. She talking about, oh, well, I did my own research and I'm going to vote for Trump. She could have done a PSA. She didn't need to be at our convention when she is an unrepentant harlot. Like, we being serious? That's what we're pushing now? Harlotanism? Okay. Very, very disappointing. Very, very disappointing. And I know a lot of other Republicans that feel the same way. The problem is that there is a vast erosion of principles and values in this nation, both on the right and on the left. And everything is going towards Marxism and communism on both sides now. It's infiltrated both sides, and people need to wake up. Like, it's beyond just rhinos and neo-Marxists in the Republican Party and in the Democrat Party. It's beyond that. We need to wake up and see what's really going on. We need to return to our values and return to our principles, not change them. We need to stand hard and we need to stand firm, not be all soft and limp. Okay? That's real jacked up. Okay? It's ridiculous and it's disgusting and it makes me want to spit. It's so frustrating, you guys. It's so frustrating because it is like it's leading us in the wrong direction. And we as real Americans need to stand up. Like, I don't care, bro. I don't care if you're a Democrat, bro. I don't care if you're a Democrat, sis. But I do care about your morals and values. And I care about the fact that they're being eroded and replaced with this communism, neo-Marxist American communism nonsense. It's serious. And if we don't do something about it, all is going to be lost. And if you're a Republican, you don't see this stuff creeping into our party, this woke right nonsense creeping into our party, creeping into our platform, starting to be allowed at our different events and stuff like that, the softening of language, all of this foo-foo, fa-fa nonsense. Are you serious? Are you serious? And these people call themselves Republicans. Repugnant is what it is. Repugnant. That's a terrible joke, but it made sense. It sounded good. That's you guys. I'm a little bit exhausted, exacerbated, and I feel a little some type of way, right? Like, I can't stop going forward. LOL, forward, because you can't even say forward anymore because now it's Kamala Harris's new thing. But really, we talked about the Forward Party and their whole neo-Marxist stuff, and how that's their slogan, not left, not right, but forward. That's a neo-Marxist nonsense. And people are going around spouting it out. And now Kamala's picked it up. And now that's Kamala's thing. And she's nothing but a socialist Marxist anyway. I mean, her dad was lectured and wrote books on Marxism and endorsing it. Like, are we serious right now? So frustrating. It's really very frustrating. You know? And this is where we are at this point in society, and not enough people are willing to stand up and say no more. People are mad, yes. People are hurting, yes. But not enough for them to get off their behinds and pull their thumb out there, Heine, and actually do something. Why? Why won't you do anything? The only people I see out here in these streets are these crazy leftist, anti-American jihadists. Matter of fact, they got about 10, 15,000 of them down in Chicago right now, accosting the Democrats right now. Like, do you not see what's happening in our country? This is more than just a color revolution that's going on in our nation right now. It is complete social destability and destabilization and a renewal, which isn't even a good word for it, replacement, okay, of our morals, of our values, and of our institutions with this crazy, insane, ultra-left propaganda. It's insane. It's insane. That's what it is. That's exactly what it is. This ultra-leftist, socialist, communist nonsense is taking over our nation. And where are the good people? What is it? Good thrives when, what is it? Bad, evil thrives when good men do nothing, right? That's the saying. Like, what's going on? What's really going on? Can we have that conversation? When are we going to have that conversation? We got about 75 days left until the election cycle. What have you done? What are people doing? Come on. Hello, hello, hello. 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 Is it me you're looking for? Okay, I'm not singing, but okay. I'm a disc jockey, not a singer. No. Or rather, I'm an MC. I'm a master of ceremonies because my initials are MC. How about that? But no, you know, this is crazy. This is crazy. This is absolutely insane. People need to get off their bums. Are you getting socially active, politically active where you are? Are you standing up where you are? Because I'm concerned about the direction of our nation, very much so. And I'm standing up and I'm fighting as much as I can. Sometimes it makes me not feel the best that I'd like to feel because it feels like we're fighting an insurmountable battle, but we got to stand strong and stand firm anyway, bro, because if not, they're coming for us all anyway. Like, I don't think the people understand that at some point they're going to start coming for people. They already are, really. They're censoring people online. Then they're gonna do like they're doing in like they did in in New Zealand, start locking people up. They did it in Australia. They're doing it in England right now, locking people up for talking, saying free speech, not even saying anything that's crazy. Like, they're not saying go bump somebody off a dock somewhere. They're like, this is this and this is what's going on. And they're like, oh, you can't say that, you're going to jail. Like, y'all need to wake up. Y'all need to wake up. They put all these fences and stuff around the DNC convention over there in the Democrat convention over there in Chicago right now, and they got all these crazy people, which are their crazy people. Those are their crazy people. Hello, hello. They're using their crazy people yet again. Okay, same way they did in the last election. Okay, last time it was Antifa. Now it's these anti-American jihadists. It's the same people. It's the same people. Okay? Mostly people who are leftist, liberals, champagne socialists, not really the champagne, but maybe what do you call it? They call them things. The specialized loggers like microbrews and stuff like that. Them people. Okay? It's mostly them people. And the people that live out in the suburbs that are on mommy and daddy's money. Okay? Or the liberal arts degrees that they got all these people running around with that don't got nothing really to provide for themselves except for a job at Starbucks. We're not being real right now with what's going on. They're being paid and they're being ushered in to do horrible stuff, and the police have been defunded so that they can. That's why all of these laws have been taken away, so that they can do this, so that the crime can go wild. Because they want to push everybody out of the neighborhoods and the communities because all they want to do is consolidate power. All of this is a massive consolidation of power and a move to the far left. Call it what you want. Socialism, Marxism, communism, it doesn't matter. It's all the same thing. Ultimate government control over every aspect of your life. Kamala got the nerve to talk about she's going to work on price gouging by putting in laws to mandate prices. Next, you're gonna be talking about you taking over industries, bro. Nationalizing industries. That is a step in the march straight from socialism to communism. Right there, it's right there. That's communism, bro. It's right there in what she's saying. Like, y'all got to wake up. I don't know how to wake you guys up. I'm just telling you what I can tell you to try to tell you in a way that I can tell you. You know, without being too hyperbolic, because I'm telling you, this stuff got me on all the way on edge. Look, okay? Listen. We got so much stuff going on right now that if you don't see that we are in dire times, I don't know how to help. And I don't know how much longer they're going to allow me to talk and speak freely without deleting and deplatforming stuff from my stuff that I put out there. You know, I put out a video the other day. I told you guys about it on the Olympics situation, and they pulled that down. They said that you can't have that video because it has clips from the show. But they're trying to pull the clips of the show offline so that you can't see that they had all this devil nonsense in there, all this demon nonsense in there. Then at the end, then the closing show had Lucifer on there. Are we even being real right now? Like, what is going on? Man, listen. The whole nation needs to repent, turn to the teachings of Jesus, and open their heart to the Lord, our Father in heaven. Because if we don't turn back to the Lord now, it'll be too late. All of this evil and perversion that's sweeping across our nation and growing larger and larger and more prevalent every single day will continue to consume everything until there's nowhere left to hide. You know, you see they're breaking down the churches. First they came for the Catholic Church. Now they're coming for, then they came for, I forget the other group. But they came for, now they're coming for the Southern Baptists. The Methodists are all LGBHIG. Okay, you got the Unitarians are all pride up. Okay, rainbow flag churches nonsense. Okay, all of this endorsing sin openly in public. Okay, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. I heard earlier somebody say, matter of fact, it was Sonny Johnson. I heard her say, she said, soon we're going to have more rainbow flag churches than we have regular churches. And that's real, because where are all the Christians standing up? Where are all the Christians standing up? Nowhere. We're the Christians. We're the Christians. I don't know how you can be a Christian and support Kamala. She out here talking about she want to kill all the babies. Like, y'all tripping. Y'all tripping. If you call yourself a Christian and you vote for her, you got a problem. A very serious issue. Because she is very anti-scriptural. Very, very much so against scripture in so many different ways. I'd be here doing a whole show just about how much she's against scripture. Man, it's crazy. But the fact that anybody would support her that called himself a Christian, you're not a Christian if you support her. And I'm not saying that you have to support Trump, but I'm saying if you are supporting her, you're not a Christian. Because she endorses killing babies and children and stuff like that. And even the elderly. The next thing she's going to push is euthanasia for the elderly and the poor. Because she's already talked about it. But you don't listen to her, so you don't know. People have to wake up. Like, a lot of these people tell you exactly what they're about and exactly what they're doing. What's the quote? Maya Angelou? When somebody shows you who they are, believe them the first time. Shoot, this is what the issue is and what the problem really is in our nation right now, but we can't even talk about it. It's very frustrating because I'm doing the best that I can to speak up, to give people a reason to be encouraged. And that's, if you're watching us online, I encourage you, like, share, subscribe. Okay, make sure that you share to get the message out to more people. If you listen to us on air, make sure you encourage people to tune into our show every Monday, 2:30 to 4 p.m. on WRFZ 106.3, Rochester Free Radio. But we have to, I think there's something wrong with my levels. I hope this show has been airing okay on the radio, because I don't know what's going on with these levels. They're not right. I'm going to have to make sure I do something different with more microphones next time, because this doesn't look right. But regardless of that, listen, we got to get these messages out to more people. We got to get more people activated. If we don't get more people activated, nothing's going to change. Everything's going to continue to get worse. And it's up to us. Nobody's coming to save us. No bearded man coming down on a cloud is coming to save us. I don't know what Bibles y'all read, but that ain't it. Okay, that ain't in the Bible. We are the ones who are supposed to stand against this great evil in this time. We are here for a time such as this, and it is up to us to stand up now. Now, not later. Now. We must stand now. We must stand against the evil. We must unite against this evil that is just going all across our land. Okay? I was going to say pervading our land, but I know a lot of people, language and stuff like that. I don't know. I try to keep the language simple, like third, fourth grade level, so that everybody can understand. But some of these things that are going on are really high level, and it's hard to explain them very simple. Oh, Lord have mercy. So it's time for us to stand up. It's time for us to speak up. And we can't shut up. Now is the time. Now is the time for us to stand up, speak up, and not shut up. We got to take action. That's what we got to do. Right now, today, I want you, if you're watching this or if you're listening, to commit to take some level of action to start getting involved locally in your political area. Okay? Seriously. Seriously. If we do not, everything's going to be lost to these communists who have been working on infiltrating the US for almost 100 years. Since Stalin was alive, you know? That's how long this has been going on, even a little bit before that. You know, but we need to make sure that we are speaking up and out against these things. You guys, we only have so much time left. And if the Harris-Walsh administration gets in there, I'm telling you, stuff is going to go downhill way fast. You're talking about going forward. We are going to go forward. We're going to go forward straight into the gates of hell. That's where we're going forward. So we got to stand up now. And I know this has been a more down-tempo show than it normally is, but I hope that you guys are encouraged just a little bit to stand up and fight back, because we have to. We absolutely have to. There is no giving up, because they're trying to make us so fearful that we just give up and say nothing can be done and say, oh, well, we'll wait for Jesus to come back or whatever. Okay, no. We have to stand up and we have to fight back against the evil. We cannot let the evil continue to grow in both power and scope. And that is my message for you guys today. Make sure that you get active locally. And if you're in my area, definitely pitch in or donate to my campaign, www.marcus4rochester.com. That's Marcus4rochester.com. You can donate or you can volunteer. Whatever you can do is always helpful. But get active. Get active. Go to local county committee meetings or county ledge meetings or city or town council meetings, school board meetings. We have to get active. Go join your local, your local political committee. We have to get active. If we are not getting active, nobody is coming to save us. And it's very clear that nobody in either party gives a flying monkey's uncle about you, that it's going to be up to us, the few that have the morals, the values, and the scruples to actually know what's right from wrong, because apparently that's just been completely lost, to actually stand up. And that's my message for you guys today. It's time to stand up, speak up, and don't shut up. Take action. You guys be blessed, be well. I'll catch you guys next week. 106.3 WRFZ Rochester Free Radio. Make sure that you like, subscribe, follow us on the Marcus C. Williams channel on YouTube. Follow me on X and all the other platforms. You guys, I'll catch you guys later. Be blessed and be well. Catch you guys later.